Part 1. The Rise of Rexy. Once upon a time, in a prehistoric world teeming with life, there lived a young Tyrannosaurus Rex named Rexy. Rexy was no ordinary dinosaur. It was destined to become one of the mightiest creatures to ever roam the earth. But for now, Rexy was just a curious little T-Rex, only 10 feet long from snout to tail, with legs built for running and tiny arms that often made it wonder, what are these even for? Rexy lived with its mother in a vast jungle surrounded by towering volcanoes and open plains. Every day was an adventure as Rexy learned the ways of the T-Rex. It practiced roaring, sneaking up on prey, and using its powerful legs to run fast, but hunting wasn't easy. Rexy's mother often reminded it, "Patience and observation, my little one, watch and learn from me." One sunny morning, Rexy followed its mother into a clearing where a herd of Edmontosaurus, a large plant-eating dinosaur, was grazing. Rexy's mother crouched low, her sharp yellow eyes fixed on the smallest Edmontosaurus in the group. Rexy copied her movements, trying to stay quiet. But just as they were about to pounce, Rexy accidentally stepped on a twig snap. The herd scattered in all directions. Rexy's mother gave a low growl of disappointment. "You must be silent and precise, Rexy," she said. "Even the slightest mistake can cost you your meal." Rexy nodded, feeling a bit embarrassed but determined to do better next time. As the days passed, Rexy practiced stalking smaller dinosaurs and using its senses. It discovered that its sense of smell was extraordinary. It could detect prey from miles away. Its eyesight was just as impressive, able to spot movement even in the dim light of dawn. Despite its growing skills, Rexy still had much to learn. One evening, while wandering near the edge of the jungle, Rexy spotted a dinosaur with 3 sharp horns and a large frill. It was a Triceratops. Rexy's eyes widened. It was a big and dangerous creature, but Rexy was eager to prove its strength. Without thinking, it crept closer, ready to pounce. But just as Rexy prepared to leap, the Triceratops turned sharply, stomping its feet and lowering its horns. Rexy froze in fear, realizing it had underestimated this mighty opponent. Before Rexy could react, a familiar growl echoed through the trees. It was Rexy's mother. She had been watching from afar and quickly stepped in. "This is not the right time," she said, nudging Rexy away. "Triceratops are tough prey. You must wait until you're bigger and stronger." Feeling both relieved and frustrated, Rexy followed its mother back into the forest. It realized there was still much to learn, but deep down, it knew that every step of its journey was preparing it for the day it would become a true king of the dinosaurs. See you kids in Part 2.
Subscribe to my channel!
Hello kids, Part 2. King of the Jungle. Several years had passed, and Rexy was no longer a small curious T-Rex. It had grown into a towering predator, over 40 feet long with a bite strong enough to crush bones. Its roar echoed through the prehistoric lands, striking fear into the hearts of every creature. But Rexy's journey to becoming king of the jungle wasn't over yet. One morning, as the sun rose over the volcanic plains, Rexy wandered alone in search of food. The jungle was quiet, too quiet. Rexy sniffed the air, catching the faint scent of a herd of Hadrosaurus, smaller plant-eating dinosaurs. Following the scent, Rexy found them grazing near a riverbank. This time, Rexy was ready. It crouched low, blending into the shadows, and crept forward with silent precision. Suddenly, a loud roar erupted behind Rexy. Another adult T-Rex had appeared, eyeing the same prey. Rexy turned to face the challenger. This was a moment of truth. Rexy had to defend its territory. The two T-Rexes circled each other, growling and snapping their jaws. The ground shook as they stomped and roared, each trying to intimidate the other. With a powerful charge, Rexy lunged at the rival T-Rex, their jaws clashed, and the fight began. It was a fierce battle, but Rexy's strength and determination proved unstoppable. After a long struggle, the rival T-Rex backed down. Retreating into the jungle, Rexy had won, solidifying its place as the top predator of the region. Exhausted but victorious, Rexy returned to the riverbank where the Hadrosaurus herd had scattered, but Rexy wasn't discouraged. It knew there would always be more opportunities. It had proven its strength and dominance, earning the title of the true king of the jungle. From that day on, Rexy ruled its territory with pride. Its powerful legs carried it across vast landscapes, its sharp teeth made every meal satisfying, and its mighty roar reminded all creatures of who was in charge. Though the prehistoric world was full of challenges, Rexy embraced them, knowing it was the strongest and smartest predator of its time. And so, the legend of Rexy, the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex, lived on, an awe-inspiring tale of courage, strength, and the journey to greatness. The end.
Subscribe to my channel!
Part 1. Swift learns the ways of the raptor. Long ago, in the shadow of ancient mountains, lived a young velociraptor named Swift. She belonged to a pack of clever and fearless raptors who roamed the dense forests and open plains in search of prey. Though she was small, standing just 3 feet tall and barely 6 feet long from nose to tail, Swift had sharp eyes, a quick mind, and boundless energy. Like all raptors, her body was lean and covered with feathers. And she had a deadly curved claw on each foot, her most powerful weapon. Swift's pack worked together to survive, and the older raptors taught the younger ones how to hunt, stay hidden, and defend themselves. Every day was a lesson for Swift. She learned to use her speed to outrun danger and her sharp senses to track prey. Her tail, long and stiff, helped her balance as she darted through the forest. One bright morning, Swift followed her pack leader, an experienced raptor named Talon, as they moved silently through the jungle. Talon was teaching the young raptors how to hunt. Pay attention, Swift, Talon said with a series of clicks and chirps. Hunting is about patience and teamwork. They came across a Protoceratops grazing near some trees. The Protoceratops was about the same size as a raptor but much heavier, with a bony frill on its head for protection. Talon signaled to the pack, and they spread out, each raptor taking a position. Swift crouched low, her heart pounding with excitement. She had seen hunts before, but this was her first chance to join in. As the pack moved closer, Swift accidentally stepped on a dry branch. Snap! The Protoceratops jerked its head up, its eyes wide with alarm. In an instant, it bolted toward the trees. The pack gave chase, but the element of surprise was gone. The Protoceratops escaped, and the raptors were left empty-handed. Talon turned to Swift. "You must stay silent," he said gently. "Even the smallest mistake can ruin a hunt, but don't worry, every hunter learns by trying." Swift nodded, determined to do better next time. She practiced her stalking skills, learning to move silently through the underbrush. She also began to notice how her pack communicated with clicks, growls, and chirps, coordinating their movements like a well-rehearsed dance. One evening, as the sun set and the forest glowed in golden light, Swift heard a strange noise. She followed the sound to a clearing where a Triceratops, a massive, 3-horned dinosaur, was grazing. It was much larger than a Protoceratops, and its horns were sharp enough to fend off most predators. Swift's curiosity got the better of her, and she crept closer, wondering if she could take it on alone. Just as she was about to step into the clearing, Talon appeared behind her and nudged her back. "Not yet, Swift," he said. "A triceratops is too dangerous for you now. Focus on what you can handle, and one day you'll be ready for bigger challenges." Swift sighed but trusted Talon's wisdom. She returned to the pack, knowing there was still much to learn. That night, as the raptors rested under the stars, Swift dreamed of the day she would become a skilled hunter, leading her pack on daring adventures. See you kids in part 2.
Subscribe to my channel!
Hello kids, part 2. Swift becomes a leader. Years passed, and Swift grew into a strong and clever raptor. She was now the fastest runner in the pack and had mastered the art of silent stalking. Her once small frame was now sleek and powerful, her curved claws sharper than ever. Swift had learned from every mistake and every hunt, and her pack trusted her as one of their best hunters. One day, while the pack was hunting near a river, Swift noticed something unusual. Footprints in the mud. They were the tracks of another pack of velociraptors. Swift's sharp eyes scanned the area, and soon she spotted movement in the trees. A rival pack had wandered into their territory. Talon, now older and slower, called the pack together. "This could be trouble," he said. "We must protect our land. Swift, I trust you to help lead this defense." Swift felt a surge of pride but also responsibility. She chirped orders to the younger raptors, instructing them to spread out and watch for ambushes. The rival pack emerged, their leader snarling as they approached. Both groups circled each other, growling and hissing, their tails flicking in warning. Suddenly, the rival leader lunged, and the clearing erupted into chaos. Swift stayed close to her packmates, using her speed and agility to dart around the attackers. She leaped onto one of the rival raptors, using her sharp claws to drive it back. All around her, the pack fought fiercely, but the rivals were strong. Thinking quickly, Swift led a small group of raptors into the trees. "Follow me," she chirped. They moved silently, circling behind the rival pack. With a sudden burst of speed, they charged from the rear, catching the rivals off guard. The attack worked, and the rival pack began to retreat, realizing they were outmatched. As the dust settled, Swift looked around and saw her pack victorious. Talon approached her, his eyes full of pride. "You've done well, Swift," he said. "You are ready to lead." From that day on, Swift became the leader of her pack. She guided them with wisdom and courage, always remembering the lessons she had learned as a young raptor. Whether they were hunting in the forest, defending their territory, or exploring new lands, Swift's pack thrived under her leadership. Swift's story became legendary among the raptors, a tale of bravery, cleverness, and the journey from a curious young dinosaur to a fearless leader. And though the prehistoric world was full of dangers, Swift faced every challenge with the heart of a true velociraptor. The end.